We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Dan. Dan is building a new house that will have built-in home theater and whole house audio system. His builder's AV installer is recommending Proficient audio in-wall and in-ceiling speakers. Dan has no experience with this brand, has been able to find much in the way of reviews. The installer has offered to let him listen to one of the installations he has done for another customer. But what do we think? Do we have any experience with this brand of speakers? We don't.
I don't know.
But they are one of the many brands owned by Core Brands, and it's those are Blue Bolt, Elon, Furman, Miles, Panamax, Proficient, Speakercraft, Sunfire, and Xantec.
Right.
So this is all part of that.
Oh, they're part of the Speakercraft family. I didn't realize that.
Yep, it's part of the Speakercraft family. So what does that mean? That means that your installer is getting fantastic profit margins on these things. That's what it means. That's what it means. And I'm not saying that to say that they're a bad person. They deserve to make their money, all right? But Speakercraft in particular, and these companies that are installer related or installer focused, their selling point is sell our speakers because we have a 50-point margin.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been listening to the Cedia podcast, and they've had a whole series, and they've been talking recently about how they actually, a lot of installers are still stuck in the business model of you purchase the equipment from us and we install it quote unquote for free, but that means that the equipment has to have a really high margin.
Right.
And they're still stuck in that. And they're like, look, when you hire a plumber, the parts are nothing. You're paying all for the labor. When you go to a car mechanic, the parts, I mean, they're not nothing, but they're not nearly as expensive as the labor, right? So people are used to paying for labor. They're like, hey, we as Cedia installers ought to be charging for labor separate from parts. But because they unfortunately got stuck in a business model where it's you buy the parts and we install it for free or installation included, that's sort of what's happened. So in that sense, the products aren't as bad a deal as they, like, if you bought them as an individual and installed it yourself, they're a horrible deal.
Yes.
Right? Like if you bought it at full retail price and then installed it yourself. But it's because you're probably getting the installation and the product all for that one price. And if you separated out what's labor, what's parts, it wouldn't look so bad. So want to be fair to the installers and fair to these companies, because it's an outdated business model that even the Cedia people themselves are like, we got to change this because it doesn't make sense anymore. Like, people want to install an Apple TV. What are we going to do? Charge them $600 for an Apple TV? That doesn't make any sense. We have to be able to partition out parts versus labor, but that's their side of things.
So I would highly recommend you go listen to the speakers.
Yeah.
I don't know that if they're recommending in-ceiling speakers for your home theater and they're not just the Atmos ones, I would recommend.
Yeah, he did say in-wall and in-ceiling.
So I'm hoping that there's in-wall options here for your home theater. So make sure that's happening. But go listen and see how they sound.
Yeah.
If you like them and they're comfortable installing them, go with them. The problem you're going to run into is dealers have relationships with certain brands, and those are the brands they carry. It's like you can't go to a Best Buy store and say, sell me a car or sell me a motorcycle. They don't carry them. They don't have them. Same deal here. They have access to certain companies, and that is that. Which means if you decide you want to build your own home theater or go with products that they don't sell, you're kind of putting them between a rock and a hard place. You can't say, "Hey, I'll buy the speakers, give them to you, install them."
Right.
They generally don't work that way, and they you'll have to really communicate with them if you do want to go with a different speaker brand.
Yeah.
But I would take a listen not only to this, but find out what other options they have and see what they think.
Yeah, because they might carry Kef or Martin Logan, maybe RBH if they happen to.
If they don't carry RBH, you should encourage them to do so and then go with RBH, because that would be the easy answer to this problem. We don't have any real insight into these. They probably sound fine. That would be my guess. Want your question answered? Send it to question at avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.